it going, everybody? It's going to be my first commentary, so hopefully everyone can hear me. Hopefully I can stay on track what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I was going to talk about how it is to live with this 2022 Toyota Tacoma manual transmission. It is a lot different than an automatic for sure. The reason I know because I used to own an automatic, and might do a video later on talking more about the automatic, but I had it unfortunately right here, actually got in a wreck. Person ran this stop sign right here, but yeah, so had the opportunity to get this manual and I did. I've owned it now for about a little over a year, so a lot of time to drive it and collect my thoughts on it. But, we'll start going over some of the things that I notice and finish going through the gears here. But some characteristics about it. Not really pros and I guess likes and dislikes, but more of a pros and cons. But first off, we'll talk about the actual transmission. That was walking back there. So this transmission here, it is very old school, we'll put it that way, and not what I thought it was. Saw some things about it online, some forums, other videos, which not really a whole lot of videos out there on this. But this transmission is really, you might hear it clunky, unrefined, and that does kind of explain it. It's reminds me of my dad's old tractor back in the 90s, shifting gears with that. I used to shift gears with that just for fun. Very, very mechanical, clunky feeling. At times, the synchros, you could actually feel them. They're not 100%. Oh boy, this person just okay. I don't know what this person did, but a little swirly there. It's very wet out, so very slick. Having fun. But anyways, let's talk about this, clunkiness. It's very unrefined. Now, if you're just like sitting with the vehicle off and you're going through it, it's very noisy. You can hear it clunking around, but it's pretty smooth. It's when you're actually driving it that it can get a little more clunky, if you will. And you can feel the synchros sometimes. They're not 100% perfectly aligned, so you gotta persuade it a little bit to maybe go in gear, and it's not hard or anything, it's just something you feel. So I would say it's not necessarily refined in that area. As far as like travels and the throws, I mean, it's a little longer than, you know, like a car, but other than that, I mean, it's very, from what I hear, very old school truck like. The only thing I can really reference it to that I've experienced is a transmission on a tractor. Talk about maybe the actual shifting itself, or well, the gearing, let's just put it that way. So if you ever did any research or you actually have this truck, you might know that the 1 to 2 shift is not the best, and it's not bad, it's definitely different, and I'll kind of compare that. But when it comes to like the gearing, this is very short gears on this. Short meaning, if you think like big gears on a bicycle, that's kind of what it's compared to. Provides more torque, but not a lot of speed. So normal driving for me, I'm not an aggressive driver, so normal driving and normal accelerations, if you will, it's slow. It's actually slower than the automatic for my driving style. The automatic, though it felt more sluggish, this feels a lot more torquey for sure, which I like, but it is slower. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, but you do hold up traffic, and that's where this can really kind of become like the old school style pickup trucks compared to like your 80s and 90s manual pickup trucks. But this gearing, it's just geared big or short, if you will, probably due to the lack of low end torque on this engine. With the Toyota trucks from Toyota Pickup to all the manuals throughout the years, vaguely remember driving one. It was a work truck a long time ago. My dad had a Mazda V, maybe 2200, 2100. I can't really remember. It was a long time ago, but I used to drive it up and down the dirt road that we lived on and shift through the gears. But a lot of those, and a couple people mentioned this on forums, but a lot of those truck transmissions, the manuals, they were semi-car like. You had a little bit longer gearing, plus some naturally low end torque from the engine. And I don't know if it was as clunky feeling or very mechanical as this shifter is. I can't really remember. I don't remember it imitating our tractor, but it felt like it felt smoother. But anyways, normal driving, you were able to kind of accelerate a little quicker, always be in the power a little more, or have a little more speed, I guess you could say, with it. Right now in first, so a lot of torque, just not a lot of speed with it. And then second gear is kind of the same, a lot of torque, not really a lot of speed, but once you hit third, it's pretty good actually. Third on throughout, it's just getting up to third, you're gonna hold up traffic a little bit, tick some people off, and that's even driving it aggressively. But I don't want to rev this engine out. I know people are like, you gotta rev it out. I'm not revving this engine out all the time like that. Going back to it, so some of the trucks from, I guess, the 60s, 70s, more heavy duty trucks, heavy truck like it did, it had to rely a lot on the gearing. And so that bigger gearing or shorter gearing provided more torque, but a lot less speed. And that's kind of how this is. So it's just very old school feeling, which I think it gives a lot of character. I kind of like it. You do gotta drive it with patience, and I don't really see those as cons, because because of the big gearing or short gearing, it provides plenty of torque, but just not speed. So also, which I'm gonna get into the con for me with this truck, is the clutch actuation. It's a medium, I guess, feel to the clutch. You know, it can tire your leg out. It ain't no Honda Civic style clutch, but that's not really the problem. I mean, it feels appropriate for pressure wise. It's the re-engagement of the clutch for shifting. And yes, there's an accumulator on here. I put a bypass plate in there quite a while ago now. It didn't really change it much. It gave it more consistency, because it did feel like it was kind of locking up at times, and some inconsistencies. So it gave it a little more consistency, but it's still this delay in there. And I've even driven one. I got a friend who has the complete bypass, and this might be a little bit quicker on the re-engagement, but it's not much of a difference in between ours. So it's just, you got to be patient with shifting if you want smoother shifts, and I like smoother shifts, which that's another thing. Smoother shifts are hard to come by on this truck, but we'll get into that later. But I just think, I don't know exactly what it is, but in my mind I'm thinking the pressure plate of the clutch, or the clutch spring pressure plate, whatever it's called, it's a lot of flex to it. And so you can kind of feel the bite point, you know, the initial engagement going onto the flywheel, but it can take a second to get enough pressure, I guess you could say, before you got good hookup, I guess you could say, and then come off the clutch pedal and let the rest of it engage. But anyways, just my whole point is that there's a delay. You cannot shift this fast, and it's in the clutch re-engagement. For me, it's not really here, it's not really the rev hang, it's the clutch re-engagement that I have to wait on if I want a somewhat smooth shift, appropriate shift for me. And going into that, like I said, it can be, to get perfectly consistent shifts on this thing it's pretty much impossible. I mean, you gotta do a lot of concentration to get these perfectly smooth shifts all the time. I just want appropriate shifts. I don't want to damage anything, so that's what I shoot for now. But anyways, let's see, wait, okay, finally engaged, so release it. It's just, you gotta be patient with that. Even when driving aggressively, being patient with it, it's the best way to, I find, at least with this truck, to drive this. So, about to get on the interstate here. I'm actually heading into work, work a second shift. See how the cars kind of leave me there, but it's part of the driving manual. And I don't know where my RPMs. I'm listening to the RPM, so I guess around 2,500 to 3 grand. I'll shift the gears, but I'm not going to rev it out beyond that. Don't need to. So like merging power and all that, once I'm in third gear, it's actually got pretty good pull and stuff. Ain't no rocket ship, but that seat of the pants feels pretty good. See, still gotta wait. All right, there. Fifth, wait. All right. You just gotta be patient when driving it. It's not fast. It's not a fast truck. But it's very old school feeling. And I kind of like that. Like I said, really one of my biggest cons is that clutch. Now I did have to learn to become patient with this. It took me a little while to like it more and more. But the more I've driven it, the more I've become patient with it, and just accept that it's kind of an old school feeling truck. The more I've liked, the more I enjoy driving it actually. It's almost like driving this kind of dump truck here, but this dump truck's probably an automatic now. But some of these old dump trucks, I watch videos on them, definitely reminds me of the same kind of acceleration, at least from a stop. But yeah, I could get short throw shifter. I could do other mods. I don't even have it tuned. As far as I did get this truck used, so as far as I know, the truck is still got the stock tune. Like I said, it did have the accumulator in there, and I put a bypass plate on there. It's fully stock as far as I know of, and but one of the pros I like, especially compared to the automatic, is I rarely have to downshift, especially at highway speeds, but we're going real slow right now because it's construction. But I'm in 6th gear right now. It's got a hill here, and I'm pulling. This thing will pull really good in 6th gear. I rarely have to downshift. Normally it's because somebody's slowing down in front of me. But I've really enjoyed that. Because of that, the cruise control works pretty good. If you've driven the automatic, and that cruise control on that thing is just, it's going to maintain speed, but it's going to over rev to do it. It's going to hold RPMs, and it just completely kills your fuel economy if you even care about that on a long trip. But I do care about some fuel economy, and it says 23.7. I just captured that just for fun. That's not really, I rarely would get that. But right now on this tank, it's pretty average. It's 21.9. So I do, and it's warmed up. We're on summer fuel right now. It gets decent gas mileage if I'm not super aggressive on it. been getting around summertime around 22 miles per gallon. Winter 20.5 when it got really cold, but then with the milder cold of our winters here in South Carolina, it was about 21 maybe, but yeah, more about 20.5. Sometimes it did dip down to 20 at times, but yeah. So just right now on this trip from this driving, 19.4 mpg, and by the time I get to work and stuff, it'll be up to about 21, 22, especially when I get more in town. But other than that, yeah, this truck's been really great. Hopefully it lasts. It's one of the reasons why, because it's easier to. One of the reasons why I got it and preferred the manual was just easier maintenance and hoping this truck will last me a long time. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, it's taken me a little while to really like it. But yeah, I might another con, if you will, is when we get into town here, just people are so aggressive with driving. You gotta be patient with yourself. What is this one truck doing here? You gotta be patient with yourself. You gotta be patient with the truck if you wanna, not what I feel like you're kind of abusing the truck at times. But yeah, we'll get back into town and I'll show you what I mean. Anyway, talk to you soon. All right, everybody, coming off the interstate, and kind of show you what it's like to drive in town. People can be very aggressive off the line, and this truck is not that. It is not quick. You'd have to really rev it out, and I don't want to do that. Like I said earlier, I like to try and take care of this as much as possible. Anyways, I was sitting here at this light waiting on this. I do got to get gas up here, hopefully, depending on the prices. But anyway, yeah, plan on doing a video comparison between the auto and the manual. All right, so you'll watch here. So I just kind of the shifting, it delays things, but oh, Chevy Tahoe or something behind me, they'll get right up on your rear end, but they can wait. I'll normally hang out in the right lane until I need to. I'm gonna go right in front of a cop too. Yeah. But anyways, I normally hang out in the right lane just because people are going so much faster. Unless I gotta be in that left lane, and sometimes I do. Definitely can make people angry for sure. See, some of these shifts though, they're not perfectly smooth. I mean, you can feel them. They're not bobbing heads or nothing, but I can feel it. And sometimes this, especially in that first to second gear, it can definitely feel very mechanical, clunky. It does have a satisfying feel like through the gates, but it's just very mechanical, if that makes any sense. So, but yeah, plan on doing a video on comparison. If anybody has any questions that they want, I can try and answer. This truck's definitely not perfect, but I definitely like how old school feeling it is. Can't get on over. But yeah, I mean, and thinking also maybe doing like a more in-depth video maybe on how I drive it. Of course, other people would definitely drive differently, and that's fine. But just kind of how I drive it, how I approach certain situations with it. Like I said, it is different from a car, or even from what I found, like older or trucks from the 90s with manual, small trucks, like the way I remember it. I grew up on dirt bikes, so that's where I learned to drive the mechanical transmission, and the concepts of a mechanical was from a dirt bike. It's lots of quick shifting, so this is completely opposite of that. But yeah, if anybody has any more questions or anything, yeah, leave it in the comments. I can try and answer it. Hopefully I can answer it. If you want to, subscribe to this channel. Encourage me to do more content on the truck. Well, the POV version, I don't like that just because that camera is heavy. And other than that, though, yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, like I said, reach out if you got any more questions. All right, y'all have a good one. Bye.